Alright friends, today we're going to begin the first steps of our Grandma Moses inspired landscape drawing. We're going to be using those 6 tricks to create the illusion of space from the worksheet that we did the last time we were together as an introduction to this lesson. So to begin our drawing, we need to make a horizon line. The horizon line is the line where the sky and the ground meet. So I'm just going to put a straight line up here at the top. This is going to be the horizon. So everything up here is going to be sky, and everything down here is going to be land. Then I'm going to begin adding some details to my landscape. Remember that things that are close to us in our artwork are going to be down low on our paper, and they're going to be tall. As things get farther away, they're going to rise up, and they're going to get smaller with less detail. So to start, I'm just going to put a really big evergreen tree, and to demonstrate that size, big in the front and small in the back, I'm going to make it really big. So my first tree is going to be really big. Okay, so this tree is going to look like it's close to us because it is large and it is close to the bottom of the paper. Now, if I want to make another tree that looks farther away, it's going to rise up on my paper and it's going to be smaller. So my next one, I'm going to put here. Okay, and again, we need to erase our horizon line in the middle of our tree, so make sure you draw lightly. And so now we have the illusion of space. This tree is really close and really big. This tree is farther away, and it is higher up from the bottom of the paper. Another trick that we talked about in that worksheet is overlapping. So I'm going to make a second tree right here, but I'm going to make it overlapping with the first. So we use that trick, draw, skip, draw. So I'm going to take my tree, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller even since it's a little bit farther away. Okay, like this. So I draw, I skip where it overlaps, and then draw again on the other side. Okay, so now I have size, I have placement, meaning close to the bottom, farther up, and even farther up still. I have overlapping. Another thing that we talked about in that worksheet is linear perspective, which means that something is going off into the distance. And so maybe you want to make a road, or you want to make a this is going to be a snowy landscape, so maybe you want to make a kind of snowy path. I'm going to make a path that winds from the front of my artwork back here into the distance. So that's one line. My next line for my path is going to be wide at the bottom because it's close to me, and as it gets farther away, it's going to get closer and closer together. Just like this. So you could make that a path for our walking. You could make that maybe a stream that's flowing through our trees here. Another thing that you might do, if we look at Grandma Moses' landscape, there was lots of things happening in her artwork. So maybe you have some buildings, or you have some people. Maybe you have people that are skating on this frozen creek here. You might have animals. Her artwork was very famous for having lots of things happening, lots of life and busyness happening in her drawings. One other thing that was on our worksheet that we're not going to use today is value. And value was where things that are close are really dark, and things that are far away are lighter. And so we're not going to add any color to this today, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. but we are going to use all 6 of those tricks. Let me look at my worksheet and make sure I'm not forgetting something. Okay, so we used linear perspective when we did the path here. We used overlapping right here. Size, I have big, medium, small. Placement on your paper is where things are close at the bottom. Higher up and higher up makes it look like it's farther away. Value and color we're not using today. We're going to hold off and use that next time. And the last thing is detail. That's what I need to add, is some details. I'm going to use some details in my trees. This tree is going to get a lot of branches and lots of details because it's close. And so I'm just going to make kind of some lines here with some texture to make it look like we have some chunky tree branches happening. And because this one is close, it's going to get lots of detail. I might even add some details, some texture type details to the trunk of the tree here, because we would be able to see that. It's so close to us. Now, as this one gets farther away, my details are going to be less. Because it is farther, we're not going to see as much. And then on this one, it's going to be even less, or maybe even not any at all, because it is the farthest away. So we would lose detail as things get farther and farther away. You might have some similar details. Let's make this a pond, actually, or a stream. So up here in the front, we might have some water type details, but as it gets farther away, those details are going to get smaller and less. We're not going to see as many of them because the detail gets diminished as it gets farther and farther away from us. Now, you might have lots of other things to add to your landscape, and I hope that you do. I'm going to stop here because I want you to have plenty of time to work on your artwork. So please add lots of details like fences or houses or barns or animals or people, people doing work of some sort. But for me, I'm going to stop here so that you have lots of time to work.